everyone, and welcome to MathSux. This video is going to help you pass Algebra 2. In this video we're going to go over the arithmetic sequence formula sum by looking at what the sum of a finite arithmetic series means, then looking at the formula. Finally we're going to solve an example, and then you can try the practice questions on your own at the end of this video. So first, let's just review a little bit what an arithmetic sequence is. It is a sequence of numbers that form a pattern when the same number is added or subtracted to each term. So if you look at our example here, we have the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8. If you want to think about how are these numbers related to each other, you could see that we're just adding 2 to each term. So 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and then 6 plus 2 is 8, and then we could keep going. If we wanted to go find the value of the next term, we would just add 2 to 8, which would give us 10, and this pattern could keep going. This is just a little review of arithmetic sequences, but if you need a more in-depth review, I have a video on arithmetic sequences, so please check that out. So we see what arithmetic sequences are, but what are arithmetic series? So arithmetic series is now when we're going to take the same arithmetic sequence, but we want to be adding all these numbers together. So we have our sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but now we want to add all these numbers together. 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus, and then this can just keep going. It's fine to find the value of the sum of the first 4 terms, or the first 3 terms. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 6 is 12. That's the sum of the first 3 terms. But what if we wanted to find the sum of the first 20 terms? So that's where the formula for the finite arithmetic series comes in handy. So here is the formula for the finite arithmetic series. It says S sub n is equal to n times a sub 1 plus a sub n all over 2. So let's just break down what this means. Don't be afraid of this. Each part of this formula means something. So n in this case is the number of numbers you are summing together. So I just mentioned the example of finding the sum of the first 20 terms. So it's like the number of terms. So I'll just say example 20, and we're going to go over a real example soon. A sub 1 is always the first term. So if you go back and look at our sequence, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? So if you look at our first term, it is 2. So a sub 1 is equal to 2. A sub n is the value of the last term of the sequence. So as you can see, we don't know the last term of our sequence. So you might think it's 10, but this can actually keep going. So we don't know the value of this. So since we don't know the value of a sub n, you might want to think back to arithmetic sequence formula, and maybe we can rework this formula and fill in what a sub n is. So I'll show you what that means. There is an alternative way to write this formula by rewriting a sub n. So first, let's write everything that we're going to keep the same. S sub n is equal to n times a sub 1 plus something over 2. So we're going to be writing this a sub n here. So a sub n is actually equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So I didn't just make this up. This is the arithmetic sequence formula. So that's what we're going to be taking and plugging into here. So let's do that. You won't always be given the value of the last term of an arithmetic series, so it's important to know how to rework this, or just to memorize this second version of this formula. So now all we need to do here is combine like terms and rework this a little bit. So notice we have 2 a sub 1s, so this is now equal to n times 2 a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d all over 2. And I'm just going to rework it a little bit more. I'm going to take out this half and put it under the n. So we have n over 2, and then this is 2 times a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So in case you don't know what I did here, just know that this is the exact same formula we looked at on this page here. We just expanded this a sub n. That's all we did. So you can choose to understand how we got it, or you can just memorize it. It's up to you. So now we do have this new formula. Notice we have a new term here. So let's identify everything again and label what we have here. So remember n, we have two n's. They are the number of numbers being summed. So this is like the number of terms we are trying to sum. Number of terms being summed together. So that's n. Now a sub 1, that's still our first term. And then we have this other value d. So d is something called the common difference. And all this is the number that's being added or subtracted to each number in the sequence. So we have our formulas. So now we are ready to look at our example. Find the sum of the first 20 terms of the following, and then we're given the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8. So notice this is the same sequence that we've been working with, and notice we are not given the very last value of the sequence. We don't know what that is. So that means we're going to be using the second formula we derived. We're going to be using this formula. So let's just write this out. So we're going to be using S sub n is equal to n over 2 times 2 times a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So let's go over what each thing means and then plug it into our formula. So n is the number of terms being summed together. So we can see here we want to sum the first 20 terms. So we know that n is equal to 20. So let's fill that in, 20, and then we have over 2 times 2, and now we have another number we have to find. So remember, this is the first term of the sequence, which is just 2. Fill in our 2. We have another n here, which we already found, the number of terms we're summing together. So n is equal to 20. Minus 1, that's just a part of our formula. And now times the common difference. So the common difference, remember, is the number that is added or subtracted to each term in the sequence. So if we look back at our sequence, you can see that we are adding 2 to each term in the sequence. So 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8. So we know that this value d is going to be equal to 2. Now that we have all the different values of our formula, we can just calculate this and put this together. So 20 divided by 2 gives us 10. 2 times 2 is 4. 20 minus 1 is 19 times 2. And we get an answer of 420. So remember, just for a little reminder about what this number represents. 420 is what we would get if we were to add the numbers in the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way up to the first 20 terms. So that's our answer. So if you're looking for more, check out the practice questions right here. The answers are up on my blog, MathSux.org. The link is in the description below. And if this video helped you, please give it a like and subscribe. Thanks so much for stopping by, and happy calculating. Need more practice? Check out MathSux.org for more questions. Link below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Happy calculating!